Albania has a long history of religious tolerance and coexistence between its Muslim, Catholic, Orthodox and other religious communities. Religious harmony has long been a core value of Albanian society, but in recent years, the country has been faced with a rise in radicalization and violent extremism. In total, 144 Albanians are believed to have left the country to join insurgent groups abroad, including the Islamic State. Most left during 2013 and 2014, including 65 women and children. As of April 2018, 73 are still in Syria, 26 are presumed dead, and 45 have returned to Albania. Although the flow of Albanians travelling to fight in Syria and Iraq appears to have been halted, radicalization and extremist violence continue to pose a danger to society. Albania was among the first countries to respond to the challenges associated with violent extremism as part of the global coalition in the fight against the Islamic State. Albania has signed and ratified United Nations conventions and protocols relating to combating terrorism, the Council of Europe Convention on the Prevention of Terrorism, and has criminalized terrorist-related activities. Albania works in close cooperation with regional and international agencies including Europol and Interpol. Albania developed its national strategy to counter violent extremism in 2015. The strategy was a shift towards prevention and addressing the root causes, socio-economic, ideological and other factors that drive radicalization and violent extremism. The Albanian government firmly believes that to effectively respond to the complex, quickly evolving challenge presented by violent extremism, the response must involve a broad range of stakeholders: police officers, teachers, social workers, religious leaders, and community activists. They all have an important role to play. In 2016, a national coordinator for countering violent extremism was appointed to oversee the implementation of the national strategy. In little over 1 year, the CVE coordinator has succeeded in conducting extensive outreach to communities, built partnerships within Albania, in the region and internationally, and established important coordination mechanisms, such as a network of CVE focal points at each ministry. At the same time, the CVE coordinator made important steps towards better information sharing and organization of international partners' engagement, establishing the CVE Partners Working Group in order to coordinate the work supported by the embassies, bilateral and multilateral donors. A concrete outcome of these efforts has been the Government of Albania's CVE initiative, with Schools for Safer Communities, a program spearheaded by the National CVE Coordinator in cooperation with the Ministry of Education, Sports and Youth. With Schools for Safer Communities was launched in early 2018 to empower and train teachers to recognize and respond to signs of radicalization. A nationwide training day was held in January 2018 for all teachers throughout Albania. In partnership with the OSCE presence in Albania, the General Directorate of Prisons and the Probation Service, a needs assessment has been conducted and a training manual developed to combat radicalization and violent extremism in prisons. About 110 first-line prison and probation staff have already gone through the training. In December 2017, the Albanian government established the Coordination Center for Countering Violent Extremism in Albania, a hub for coordination, cooperation and partnership. The center will continue to develop effective evidence-based policies to counter the threat of violent extremism. It will work to further develop the capacities of local stakeholders and frontline practitioners involved in efforts to counter violent extremism in Albania and throughout the region. The center will work with government ministries, agencies, as well as with religious communities, civil society, media, academic and private sector networks to build resilience to violent extremism. The ministries have adopted annual plans reflecting the priorities from the national strategy and tasks from the action plan to counter violent extremism. The center will also take a proactive role in spearheading a regional initiative dedicated to building CVE capacity and cooperation throughout the Western Balkans. A more coordinated, joint approach to the challenge of violent extremism based on sharing data, methodologies, approaches and good practices is planned together with the neighboring countries Kosovo and Macedonia during 2018. These steps are just the beginning. In the coming months and years, the government of Albania will step up its engagement with regional and international partners to harmonize priorities, actions, and use of resources. And as Albanian institutions continue their work in combating violent extremism in schools, in prisons, in local communities, cooperation, expertise, and financial support from international donors and partners will be vital.